You can make up to $500,000 tax-free doing a live-in flip, and that's just one of the advantages it gives you. In this video, I'm going to go through the disadvantages and advantages of doing a live-in flip and why I think they're so great, but they do have some downsides, so let's talk about that. All right, so let's get into the advantages of doing a live-in flip. Number one is taxes. If you're a single person, you can do up to $250,000 in gain and not pay taxes on that if you stay in the house for 2 years. And if you're a married couple, you can do up to $500,000 in gains if you stay in for 2 years and not pay any taxes. So that's a huge tax advantage on money you can make and not pay taxes on. So it's a great tool, and I've known people that move every 2 years and take advantage of making these big gains, and they keep leveling up their house. One of the other advantages is if you're trying to get into real estate investing, this is one of the lower cost ways to do it. Because you're living in the house, you have no holding costs because you live there. You also don't have high financing costs because you can use normal residential loans instead of having to do hard money loans, which are more expensive. You also can do a lot of work yourself, so that gives you an advantage there as well, especially if you don't make a ton of money and it doesn't make sense to pay an electrician $150 an hour or somebody to lay floor $150 an hour. You can do that work yourself and save a ton of money and put that money into your pocket. The other thing is holding it for 2 years is going to allow that property to appreciate over time, and that's going to even give you a bigger gain when you go to sell. So holding a property can be a great thing from an inflation perspective. The financing that you have available is also going to give you an advantage relative to, let's say, a normal flipper who's having to use private money or hard money. You're going to have a lot lower interest rate. You can go low down payment, potentially 5% down, maybe even 0% down, depending on what kind of loan you can get, maybe a VA loan, or maybe you're getting a grant, which we have, some people that help people get grants here in Pennsylvania to buy a house. Overall, all of this reduces your risk because let's just say you run out of money during the renovation. You don't have this big project sitting there that you're paying for that you can't complete. You can kind of just, all right, I'm not going to put carpets in right now. This actually happened to me during my renovation on my live-in flip. I couldn't afford to put carpets in the top, or I just chose not to put carpets in the top until I was ready, and I just lived with the floors that were there. They were like hardwoods. They weren't great, but it allowed me to do it, so that was nice. It puts time on your side because you're not in such a rush. You've got to hold the property for 2 years to sell it anyway. So if you need a little more time to learn how to do things, or you can't get to it right away, you're not under a big time crunch. Again, not holding a project and paying a lot for it. You're living in the property. It gives you the ability to learn a lot of trades and skills too, which is also really fun for me and fun for a lot of people. And you can just go on YouTube and learn how to lay floor, put in base molding, even do drywall, whatever it is that you need to do. You can learn it. One of the other advantages is you don't necessarily have to sell the property to access your equity that you've created. You can use a home equity line of credit or a home equity loan to get that money out to go then do your next project. So you can stay in the house if you want to, and that's again another advantage. It's difficult to access lines of credit on a rental property or an investment property because they want you to keep more equity in the deal. So anyway, you can access almost up to 100% of your equity through a home equity line of credit with doing a live-in flip. So again, that gives you an easy way to continue on to the next project. The disadvantages of doing a live-in flip, which again I felt was you may be living in a construction zone, or you may have to live somewhere else while you're getting at least the house livable. So that I had to do. I had about 10 weeks where I was living in my old apartment, and then I was working on the house, and then 10 weeks hit and I had to move, and also COVID hit at the same time, so that was fun. But that can happen, and you might get jammed up with your living situation, so you may have to live somewhere else while you're getting the house ready, so that can add a little bit of cost or just be logistically challenging for some people. If you're trying to flip a house that's really distressed, sometimes this can be difficult for a live-in flip because you would need a hard money loan, and hard money lenders do not want to lend to homeowners. It's not a conspiracy or anything, it's just they just need to be able to evict you if you don't pay, and if you're a homeowner, it's a lot harder to do that. So a lot of hard money lenders or private money lenders won't loan to you unless you are buying that property in LLC. there are restrictions on how damaged a property can be to use, let's say, a conventional loan. You may be able to use an FHA 203K. Again, that also has some restrictions as well. So you just have to know what you're doing in terms of what condition the property's in and what loan type is going to be able to apply. For a live-in flip, you might not be able to do, like I said, a super distressed house, which for some people is probably not their good first one anyway. I hope that helps you understand the advantages and disadvantages of doing a live-in flip. Obviously, it depends on your life situation, but I think if you can pull it off, the advantages really overweigh the disadvantages, in my opinion. So that's why I love doing live-in flip. That's why I did one myself, and that's why I encourage a lot of my clients who are getting started in real estate investing to start with a live-in flip. All right, we're going to go on to the next lesson, which is what do you need to get started?